Okay, my friends, again we are looking here for help. This time, Johns Hopkins medicine. All right, it does not really matter which side or what experts we are taking as example, but here one of my clients mentioned that she is suffering from Wolff Parkinson White syndrome, and because of this she is not able to do some exercising. Well, of course I had no clue what is this Wolff Parkinson White syndrome, so I had to go into the internet to check a little bit about it, to find out, as usually, that it's all just pure nonsense. And here we are going to debunk this science. Okay, so Wolff Parkinson's White syndrome is a type of abnormal heartbeat. If you have Wolff Parkinson's White syndrome, you may have episodes of tachycardia when your heart beats very rapidly. Okay, so one of every 1,000 people worldwide will have this syndrome. And I'll also say it's basically Chinese, because in China it is more frequent than anywhere else. Okay, so they're saying that basically what happens is normally structures your heart called atrioventricular node regulates how electricity passes through upper chambers of the lower chambers. Okay, we are not going to go into technical stuff. Basically, it says that because of some anomaly, the heart will sometimes double on the beats, accelerate a speed of the heart. They relate it to a glitch, to a problem. And of course, genetics have something to do with this. Your grandmother, your grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, they are guilty for your misery. Okay, symptoms. Let's just forget much of the science because it's a nonsensical anyway. So, symptoms: shortness of breath, pounding in your chest, dizziness, passing out. All right? So, who's at risk? Affects men and women. But here we go. Chinese have more problem with this. Diagnosis. Well, you are fainting, you have a heart rate, speed of your heart, palpitation, tararap. Of course, these are the symptoms, and diagnosis is based on them, and also cardiogram, EKG, and all that stuff, measuring the speed of the... Okay, we are going technical. All right? So, it is like your car starts going very fast, and you start analyzing why. Instead of realizing that your foot is on a freaking gas pedal, you start measuring how many times the spark plug is activated. How many rotations is it creating? What is the flow of fuel coming through the engine? Okay, you do everything, except you forget about checking your freaking foot. Well, this is what doctors are basically doing. I will explain later. Treatment. How do you treat this? Okay, it's not releasing the foot from the gas pedal. No. maybe we should just kind of cut the electric signal from the spark plug. Well, there is medication that will slow down your heartbeat, but then there is a natural method. Now this is great. This natural method, how you can slow down the heartbeat. They call it Valsalva maneuver. Valsalva maneuver, what is this? Well, basically, if you cringe a little bit and you induce cough like that, and put yourself in a position like you are straining on a bathroom and push, and even if you do these things simultaneously and squeeze, you may feel heart slowing down. Now, did you repair any of these freaking conducts of electrical conduits in your heart? No, you didn't. So what heck is happening here? Well, basically, body is an electronic robot. It has sensors and switches and programs it runs on. And I have explained many times that when we have acceleration of a heart, it is caused because there is something that is happening. It's either demand, cellular demand for something that they are searching for and they are not receiving. So heart has to accelerate for the blood flow to speed up. You are speeding up the delivery. Either delivery of oxygen, okay, delivery of water to cool down the system, delivery of particular nutrient, or sometimes it could be to cleanse. And this is what is happening very often. Why people are waking up in the middle of the night or early morning with tachycardia, okay? And then you can call it a Wolff Parkinson's syndrome if you want to. I mean, those are symbols. They are idiotic names to explain just perfectly operating systems. And there is no abnormality involved here at all. So, let's see. Medication, well, we know, slow down the heart through suppressors. Complications. Well, it's not dangerous disease for most people. Of course not. It's a normal functioning body. Yes, you may have acceleration of the heart that you can then pinpoint to this nonsensical, non-existing condition called the Wolff Parkinson White syndrome. But this is because you just don't understand nothing. We are always making the same mistakes. Something is happening that is not your everyday thing stuff, and instead of checking in general the environment changes, we go and analyze the engine itself. Your car starts coughing, stalling, and you stop and start taking the engine apart, because what could cause this? Well, maybe the electric impulse to the spark plug, and maybe air duct somewhere is clogged, or maybe there is a problem in an injector line, and you ignore to look at the freaking tank if you have enough fuel. So maybe it's just fuel is not coming up, right? Well, this is the approach of medicine by our experts. And this is why when you bypass your general practitioner and you go to the more situation-oriented, symptom-oriented doctor, specialist, then everything is based on the problem of his specialty. You go to surgeon, well, you end up with a surgery. You go to cardiologist, well, you will come up with some cardio medicine. Like another friend of mine is just telling me that he knows a girl that also has a problem with high blood pressure, and the doctor gave her blood thinners to take daily, and now she's coming up with a nosebleed. A symptomatic action will cause general problems. But again, who's watching? Okay, now here are helpful lifestyle suggestions that are going to minimize occurrence of this White Parkinson's, Wolff Parkinson's White syndrome. Don't smoke, of course. Lower your toxicity. Or work with your doctors to keep conditions in check. Are you freaking kidding me? Eat heart-healthy diet, and by that they mean veggies. Yeah, of course. Make yourself sicker. Maintain the healthy weight by starvation, of course, and not by correcting your diet, which is meat-based diet. This is healthy diet. Well, exercise regularly, but then my client was told not to exercise too much because, now we have this sudden death syndrome running around. All right? So all of a sudden, people are being told, well, be careful, don't exercise too much. This is not good for you because you may drop dead. Well, also they say, well, since more young people are now suffering from this unknown death, sudden death syndrome of unknown origins. So it is dangerous to be young. Don't be young. Age rapidly. You will be safer. What a freaking nonsense. All right, my friends. Let's take it from here because this is so much crap here. See you on the other side. So here, my friends, you have it. Regular, perfectly, normally operating heart now is being called as a syndrome, disease. This is the same thing to call, let's say, stress-related boosting fuel situation when glycogen is being broken down and glucose starts seeping in to be used as booster fuel to give extra power to the body in life-threatening situations under influence of steroid, we can give it a name syndrome. We can just make it up. We can, let's say, call it McLaren or Lauda energy release syndrome. But this is not scary enough. Nobody is scared of a McLaren or Lauda racing team, or Mercedes or Renault racing team. That doesn't scare people enough. Wolff, Parkinson, pow. Okay, well, body has its normal operating program, and then has emergency operating program, and then has programming also specific to certain anomalies. Because we have to keep in mind that the body is self-adjusting, self-purging, and self-repairing robot. So it is programmed for a variety of situations we can find ourselves in. And it is all controlled by genes. So when we say something is genetic, referring to someone from a past, well, you can start with this. But then when you are born, because you are coming from a toxic body, this is creating now the response. But then if you allow the body to cleanse, and you change its environment by feeding it correctly, well, genetic expression will change. So this is not permanent glitch. We have to understand the body. And as long as we cling to the medical science the way it is being presented, we have no chance. We simply have no chance. And the faster, colleagues, the faster you understand this, the better you can serve the community. If you do not change the way of thinking, not that you are not serving the community, you are burden to the community. You are destroying the lives of people you are supposed to help. So, going back to this Wolff Parkinson White syndrome, this is not a syndrome at all. It's a normal functioning heart in abnormal situation. And this abnormal situation is related most of the times to toxicity. But it could be related also to simply unusual activity of the body. The same reactions you are going to have when you are forced to do something that will accelerate your heart dramatically. It's going to be the same damn thing. And then, of course, you can have this happening if the valve in the heart is not going to close properly. So there is going to be insufficiency of oxygen and buildup of carbon dioxide. So the body is trying to compensate by increasing the speed of the heart. But now you will not call it Wolff's Parkinson White syndrome, because now you also know that there is a heart murmur, so you relate it to a heart murmur and to the valve. But actually what is happening is the same exact thing, with addition to backflow of the blood through the valve, and additional symptom. If you don't have any of these additional symptoms, pow, it's not a disease, it's a syndrome. You know, it happens sometimes it doesn't. It happens in some people more than others, in some situation more than others. Well, this is all baloney. This is normally operating heart in strange or rare situations that your body finds itself. Or not even so strange and rare because we are extremely toxic. But for example, almost every vegan, not almost, every vegan when they go into self-healers protocol, and most vegetarians, when cellular cleansing starts, cellular hydration and cleansing start, they go through the same problem. Middle of the night, or actually very early in the morning, 4 o'clock, they experience the Wolff Parkinson White syndrome. The heart rate increases. If you ask doctor, they will have no clue. You hyperventilate, more oxygen is needed. You have headaches. You may also have a fever and some additional symptoms, but heart is going to do exactly the same thing like in this invented syndrome. It's environment creates situation, and when your organs, including heart, are properly functioning, then they will have to change a little bit in the way they function. They have to increase speed. There is no other way. Before you do something, your heart will increase rate. Before you release clutch on your car or motorcycle, you have to add a little bit power. You have to increase the engine revolution. And if you have a high torque engines, you have to increase the revolution of the engine quite a bit. This is why, get a race car moving is not as easy as getting a diesel car moving. With diesel car, you can be pretty lousy with the clutch, and you release clutch fast and it will just make a jerk and it will go. But if you do this on Formula One, if you do this in a Porsche, and it's called Porsche, it's not called Porsche or Porsche for my colleagues from America, United States of America. It's Porsche. Anyway, so when you release a clutch in Porsche or in Formula One, you have to be quite touchy with the clutch or really jam the power. And this is why you always hear before Formula One goes on, because they have to release quite a bit of revolutions before clutch gets released, because through revolution you get power. Same with the freaking heart. Through revolution you get a power, so you can raise your arm, you can lift something, you can jump, you can jog, or you can excrete toxins. Remember, body is electronic robot. It is a robot run by electricity, which we call energy. Okay, my friends, so if you have been diagnosed with this awful Wolff Parkinson White syndrome, you can just laugh into doctor's face and say, I know what to do. Just go home and start cleansing. Thank you for listening. Till next time. Love you all. Namaste.